Alright, so I'm going to open up and disassemble this Acer Chromebook 13 CB5-311 series. Alright, so first what we're going to do is take a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. Okay, and we're going to remove all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths, and if you mix them up, you can cause damage to your computers. So we're just going to remove all these screws. Just put them in the layout that you remove them on your desk, and that's how you can keep them organized. So as you can see, there's 5 screws along the back here. So take those 5 out, put them in a row. Then you see 4 here, take those 4 out, put them in a row. And again, 4 down there, do the same thing. Alright, that's how I keep the screws in order. Actually, oh yeah, there's 4 there. Okay. So this laptop is having issues charging. So I'm going to be checking if the charge port is damaged. The charge port is kind of loose and it wobbles around. I don't know if it's something is broken inside or if it's the charger itself, but we're going to find out. Alright, so we got all the screws out. Okay. Once you get all the screws out, we're going to try and go between this gap here and pry this out. Let's see if I can do it from that side or if I have to do it from this side. Let's see here. So usually what I like to do is I'll get my fingernails in the gap there, and then I'll use my thumbs on the back, not on the trackpad, but on the palm rest. I'll use that to kind of pull as I kind of pry with my fingernails, just like that. You can see the cover popped, okay? Just like this, okay? And usually I'll go around, and I'll do this all the way around. So this casing, they had a plastic cover on top, so it's kind of holds the dirt in weird places, but you can see we're popping this cover off. Okay, I'm gonna turn it like this, and then we'll go along. You can use pry tools if you want, but again, I just do it with my fingernails. As you can see, some of these clips are broken inside, but we'll see. Okay, you want to be careful. It looks like the headphone jack is attached on there. Okay, so you want to be careful lifting this thing up. Okay, let's go around the back as well. Let's see. Okay, after I got these sides out, it looks like I can lift it forward this way, but you want to be careful. Again, the headphone jack is attached. I'm just opening it up this way. So here you can see it's held in with adhesive here, and then there's actually this piece here. Alright, so how do I remove this? Do I have to take the screws out here, it looks like? I guess you can just leave it hanging attached and just let this fall over. Okay, so I'm gonna let the panel lay on its side over here. Alright, so there we go. You can leave it like that, or you can take the 2 screws out and then you can take the thing out. It has this little latch mechanism where you can flip these latches up, and then you can pull the connector or the cable out. I'm gonna leave that there. So here I can see what happened before. The charge port broke and it was glued in place. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna get the charger and I'm gonna plug it in. I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. I got the charger here. I'm gonna try and plug this in and see if it's a solid connection. And it's kind of loose, so I don't think that's gonna work. We'll see. Alright, let me open this up and see if it's even turning on. No, it's still off. I'm gonna push the power button. Nothing's happening. So it looks like it's not even charging here. What I can do is I can actually pull the charge port connector out here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. I can't really move it around much, but I'm going to grab this and wiggle this as I pull to disconnect the charge port. Okay, just keep wiggling, and there we go. I'm going to peel this up. there's adhesive here holding it in place. So just peel that adhesive out. I don't know if the DC jack is broken. Let's see here. I'm going to take this glue off. Yours wouldn't have this glue on it. Okay, but let's see here. So all these cables appear to be intact, so it's most likely internally here something is broken. I don't know if you can see in here, but there's no removable components. The only thing you can do, you can change the battery if you want. But this is just a quick look inside. As you can see, there's only the battery, the headphone jack thing here, the speaker here. The speakers are connected in 2 different spots. Oops, let me zoom back out. So there's one speaker connector here and one speaker connector here. Everything else seems to be soldered down. If you're going to mess with the LCD or LVDS connector, make sure to disconnect the battery and then press and hold the power button for 10 to 15 seconds. You got the keyboard connector here, and this is probably going to the trackpad underneath. Alright, so I'm going to test this charge port here. I'm going to plug that in. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this voltmeter, set it to voltage 20 volts, because usually laptops don't go beyond 20 volts. Okay, and I'm going to just check the red pin here and the black pin here. We are getting 19.3 volts. Sometimes this voltmeter is not that accurate. Okay, we're checking this. This is all showing power's coming through. The blue one doesn't show anything, so I don't know how that connects to it, but the blue one, I don't know, it does something else. So, but the red and black wires are connected, so we are getting power through. It's not an issue of power going through the port, so I'm gonna leave this plugged in here, and I'm gonna just leave it overnight. But anyways, if you're gonna put this thing back together, you basically just put the cover back over, close it down. I don't know where this one screw fell out from, probably one of these hinges here. So it looks like this piece came loose. I'm gonna have to figure it. Oh yeah, these hinge screws are loose. So that's one thing that's important for the hinge screws. I like to use some thread locker because these screws do often come loose. So I am gonna put some red thread locker on there, very little. And we're going to tighten this down just so these hinges don't come out and destroy themselves. Okay. Alright, so there's not much else to see inside this computer. I don't know if this video is going to be useful to anyone, because the only thing it will kind of help with, I guess, is if you need to open it up to replace the battery or to replace the charge port, and possibly even the headphone jack. But I don't know, that's gonna not be many people. Alright, so I don't know, that one screw was kind of loose in there, so I have a feeling that that might have caused damage, and it might not have been the charge port that was the issue. So yeah, okay, we're gonna put this other screw, it looks like it goes in down here. Again, I'm not seeing any signs of life on this laptop, so most likely the motherboard is fried, but again, we're going to see. Let's try and plug this here. So normally there's plastic rails that hold this in place, and then you kind of have to lift it up to remove it, not like pull it backwards like this. So keep that in mind when you're working on yours. It's very likely going to have plastic rails that keep the charge port in place. I'm just going to hold the charger there. What we can do, so what we did before is we used hot glue, but the hot glue ended up not sticking after a while. So let's see, you can use a stronger glue, but then if the charge port really breaks, then you don't really have anything to secure it back. So let's see here, plug in this hot glue gun. But basically what we did before, we fixed this and then we had to hot glue the charge port in place so it wouldn't move backwards. So we basically just filled this piece up with hot glue here to hold that in place. But right now, even though the charge port is still working, it looks like it's having an issue. This charger is super loose. It comes out really easily, but my customer was saying like when they bent it in a certain position it was charging, but I don't know, because the red and black cables, they are letting power through, so it looked perfectly fine. So I don't know what else to check with this thing. It could be when they kept like moving it around because it was loose, it might have shorted something and then damaged the main board. So guess we'll find out. Anyways, I'm gonna let this heat up and then I'll be back and I'll show you guys in a bit. Alright, so the thing is mostly heated up. Let's zoom in a bit. Okay, try and keep it from shaking too much. Alright, so I just rerouted that back, put the adhesive back in place, and now what you want to do, you just want to hold the charge port in the spot position where you want it, and then just put the hot glue over this. Okay, you can go over both sides if you want. You can go over the cable as well, and just put that to secure it in place. There's not really much stuff inside this computer. It's kind of empty, so yeah. And then if you're brave, you can use your finger and just kind of hold it, but don't burn yourself, okay? Alright, then you can kind of check it. Here you can see now when I unplug and plug this in, it doesn't really move around much. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. I don't know if it's gonna hold at all or not. We'll see. But I don't know if, I don't think this is the issue. Anyways, I'm gonna add some extra glue on here just so it sticks up, and then I'm gonna actually put the cover on. Okay, just like before, you want to like tilt this side up first, snap in the back, all right, and then you can let this side go all down. All right, and now we're gonna just put back these screws. So I didn't really see the charge port broken, and there's no way I can really do anything with the motherboard. I don't know how to diagnose the little circuits in there, so. And these Chromebooks are usually pretty cheap, so I don't know if it's going to be worth doing if somebody can repair those. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it plugged in because it did look like power was going through the charge port. So we'll see if anything changes, but other than that, hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe. There's also a battery or CMOS reset button here. If you use a needle or a pin, there's a little hole. You can press and hold that. I'm going to try doing that as well, just to see if that helps at all. So you basically just get a needle like this, push it in, press and hold it 10 to 15 seconds. Basically acts as like a battery release. Alright. And we'll see if that does anything. Okay. So now I'm going to just plug the laptop back in, or the Chromebook back in, and we'll see if after some time if it's going to start working again. Hopefully, but I'm kind of doubting it. Alright. So unplug the hot glue gun so it doesn't keep melting stuff. Alright. And we're just going to put back the rest of the screws. It could also be the charger, because the charger feels like it doesn't reach as far as it should. But I don't know, because when I plugged it directly into the thing, power was going through, so it shouldn't be an issue. Okay. Hopefully it wasn't that screw that was rolling around inside. Last two screws. Okay, let's flip this thing back over. Let's screw out. Okay. Let's see. I don't see any lights on here to indicate if it's charging, so I don't know if it's doing anything. Actually, the battery light is here, and it's definitely not lighting up or charging or anything. So I think it's completely dead, actually. Yeah, because that light wasn't on even when I was using the charge port directly, so I think this is toast. I just noticed also that the charger was a little bit crooked, but I don't think it's going to fix anything replacing it. So yeah, it looks like this Chromebook is dead. Alright, anyways, that's the end of the video. Again, like, subscribe, help others find my videos. I don't know if this video will be any use to anybody, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If it's a problem with charging, you could always try buying a battery and plug that in, because usually batteries will ship with a little charge, and if you can turn it on with the new battery, then you know for sure something's going on with it charging. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.